Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist. We break down one of their records. We get into the music, the lyrics, how it was made, the album artwork, everything in between. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. 5 stars only. Please go do that. All the social media is at Asinine Radio, so check it out. Follow us, and that's all I got for the boring intro.
Let's fucking boring.
let's just jump right into it. And what are we doing? What are we doing today, Jeff?
Well, we're doing Avenged Sevenfold and their new album, "Life Is But a Dream."
There it is. So yeah, this is their newest album. Came out a few weeks ago, or actually a couple months ago. Yeah, a couple months ago. And second album with Brooks Wackerman on drums. The rest of the guys have been around for quite a while in the band. And what's your origin story with Avenged Sevenfold? What do you got? Go.
I don't know. My earliest origin story was my cousin Talina. Her then significant other would take me a lot to Avenged shows. So I've seen this band a lot, way more than I ever needed to, which is more than one. So I never cared for him then. I don't really care for him now. If it wasn't for this new record, we wouldn't even be doing this fucking podcast, because I really just don't. I don't think this band is that great at anything. I honestly don't.
Agreed.
But they were popular in high school. People liked him in high school, and I know friend of the pod Justin liked him for a minute, even though I met him later on in life. But I know he liked. We did one of the albums on the pod once too, in like a Lost episode, didn't we?
We did, yeah. So we did. We originally did "Waking the Fallen" exactly 7 years ago, or wait, yeah, exactly 7 years ago to the day. Actually, exactly to the day we did "Waking the Fallen" with friend of the pod Justin.
Dude, it sounds
I took
like
a little screenshot of it too.
It sounds like you have the Zachley disease. Do you have the Zachley disease?
Yeah, I do.
You're
what's the
giggling over
Zachley
there.
disease? What's the Zachley disease?
The Zachley disease is where your face looks exactly like your butt. So that's what I think that you have. Because
it's such a dumb joke. It's not even funny. It's not even funny.
I'll tell you, when you get a little kid with that one, because I've gotten both kids now with this one, and when they're old enough to really appreciate it, that's when you get them. You say, "Do you have the Zachley disease? Like, I think you were born with the Zachley disease." And they're like genuinely curious because they want to know what it is, and they want to know if they have it. And when you get them and you see like that look in their face that you got them, it's priceless. It's priceless.
Yeah, it's good advice for friends of the pod who do have kids. Skip.
Yeah,
I know Alex, who lives out in Australia. I think he has a kid too.
When they get old
enough,
with
the Zachley disease, yeah.
When they get old enough, hit them with the Zachley disease, or whatever they say. Maybe in England you can hit them with the literally disease. I almost didn't get that one out.
I can't get over us. Oh God, it gets even dumber every time you say it. Oh man, it's not even funny. Anyway.
Man, that's
0-2.
Yeah, that was good. Go ahead.
So that's your origin story. Mine is I don't know the first time I heard them. It was in high school. Had to have been like freshman, sophomore year. So early 2000s. I remember friend of the pod, Kevin, he had a Avenged Sevenfold t-shirt. It was the cover of the Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, the purple and the black and all that stuff. I remember he had that shirt, and I listened to it. I just didn't care. It just didn't connect with me. I listened to Waking the Fallen when it came out, didn't connect. City of Evil, when that record came out, I really hated that record. outside of the song Backcountry and Beast in the Heartland. That was it. That's all I liked from the band. And it wasn't until years later, like you mentioned, when Justin was on the pod and we did Waking the Fallen, where I went back and I listened to the first 2 records, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the records for the most part. Obviously, some weak moments, which we talked about in this most recent rankings episode. But yeah, that's my origin story. Is I don't even really know. Just a lot of people at our school liked this band because they were also local. So that added an element to it all, but I just didn't care for him in high school. It wasn't until the last couple of years really that I really started to get back into them because of the stage. But I don't know. That's my origin story. What are your first impressions on this new record, Life Is But a Dream? Go.
We were kind of following this as it was coming out. I think it was Nobody was the first single that was released.
Yeah. It was.
And I remember like us talking about it and thinking like, this is dumb, but I'm intrigued. Like, I really want to know why this is so dumb because I kind of like it. And then listening to it again, you kind of like it a little bit more and it kind of like grows on you. So we were following this for a minute. When I first heard this album in its entirety when it came out, I didn't know what to think. I don't know, much like when you're given some crazy prog record that's so complex, or Beethoven or something. You're like, I don't like, it was good, I guess. I don't know what to think. You listen to it again, and then it gets like for me, it got worse. I thought like, this is stupid. Like, what the fuck are they doing? This is Avenged Sevenfold. And then like my third listen is when it really clicked. And I was like, this is what I've been wanting since the beginning from Avenged Sevenfold. You guys have always been goofy. This genre is fucking goofy. It's dumb. Yeah. It's silly. Finally, a band is embracing the goofiness and pulling out all the stops and all the tricks, but then still just being a band and having fun. And that's where I'm at now, just more so.
Okay. Yeah, my first impressions were similar to yours. Nobody was the first thing that I heard. And I didn't really like it at first, but I was still drawn to it. And I still sat there for 6 minutes and watched the video and listened to the song. And it was a song that I'd never heard them do, or really any other band do. It's this weird, I don't want to say like sludge sounding song, because it's not that. It's kind of in that vein, but it doesn't, tone wise, it doesn't sound like it, but it really trudges along, and it just has this weird pacing to it. It's very hypnotic. And Brooks does some weird ass shit on the drums on that song. And it's unique. It's definitely unique within their whole discography. And that song alone drew me to this record. And then when I listened to it, I was so torn. I just didn't know what to think. And where the first time I listened to it, I was smiling and giggling because I thought, oh my God, this part is fucking incredible. It's so good. And then it drops into something so stupid. And I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm going to shut it off after like the next song or two. You get 30 seconds, a minute into that shitty part, and then it would drop into something so weird, so unexpected, that I would start smiling again. Like the ups and, I don't want to say highs and lows, but the ups and downs I had listening to the song the first time, I haven't experienced that with a lot of records, especially recently, like in the last few years. It's so off the wall. And it really did take subsequent listens to really kind of absorb the nuances of it all and the transitions. And it's not just that they're dropping between part after part after part. It is a very seamless sounding record, and it's going to be kind of difficult to break down this record because it is a record that should be listened to from front to back, like any prog record. And I'm not saying this is like, a fucking Yes record or, ELP, nothing like that. It's much more metal infused, and it's fucking solid. It's so fucking solid. And every time I listened to this record probably 15, 20 times now, and I'm still picking up new things.
If you listen to this record for like the first time without knowing any Avenged like backstory, musically you would almost think this is some type of like Weird Al joke group making fun of various genres, be it like metalcore or like prog music. because it's fucking goofy and nobody
It is.
Right, that fucking intro, that like, what is that? And then so like my favorite part of that sound is that they leave just a little bit of negative space, right? There's a cutoff on that sound, and there's like a millisecond of just dead air, but it's enough for you to like think about like, wow, there's nothing playing right now, and then it goes back.
Yeah.
And honestly, dude, that sound is annoying as fuck. It's annoying. It's obnoxious. It belongs nowhere in music. And then somehow they make this work, and they make it work because when the drums come in, that hi-hat tone, dude, it's clunky. It sounds cheap. It sounds like they bought like a drum kit from the fucking like the thrift store, and it's all shitty. And then finally it does go into like the full band coming in, but I like how it builds because it builds and it embraces like the uniqueness and goofiness that makes like Avenged kind of like the best at this point, because they never embrace their goofiness like this. And even
no, they haven't.
So like I work at a record store, and the whoever was the label or somebody sent us posters. And we saw the
posters. Yeah, when I was there. I saw
and the promo posters of the band showed all of the guys, and they're like in the desert, and there's like a bus behind them, but they're all shirtless. They're all shirtless and in jeans, and half of them are wearing shoes, and the other half are wearing sandals, and it's black and white, and they're all shirtless again, and they're wearing like angel wings, like angel wings
like
you'd buy from
fake from like the Halloween store.
Yeah, just like bootleg ones, like shitty ones. But like the funny thing was nobody was smiling, nobody was smirking, nobody was laughing. They looked dead ass serious. And so I still don't fucking know what that was supposed to be.
I think in that promo shot, and we could always post on the socials, but in that promo shot, it's so awkward looking, and I think the awkwardness was intentional, because when you look at it, like the way they're all kind of spaced out with one another, none of them like are like posing like they're trying to show off their muscles, you know. It's all just very kind of this awkward sense, and I think that's what it was. I think they're not taking themselves seriously at all, and I think that's what it is. I just think that's what it is. Yeah, it's a weird shot.
Because they're older now, and so they kind of have like the dad bod thing going. They're not like gross looking.
They're still fit. Yeah,
they're still
really fit guys.
But they're not like Tim Lambesis from before he tried to kill his wife fit. You know what I mean? They're like older guys who are still fit, wearing skinnier jeans than maybe most people would wear. But again, it's just entrancing. I just don't fucking understand. I have no words.
And there's a big pile of them still at that record store too.
I'm just so confused. Well, now we have a big pile of Greta Van Fleet posters that nobody wants.
Of course, yeah. But so with Life Is But a Dream, do you have any stinkers off this record?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. How many bangers do you have?
I think they're all bangers, to be honest.
I agree.
This is something else.
I have 11 bangers, and like I said earlier, you know, it's going to be kind of difficult to rank these songs because they all belong in their rightful order. I mean, this is a song or an album that needs to be listened to front to back. And there's some crazy cool parts. I mean, I broke down a lot of these songs like with timestamps because it is kind of all over the place. They do drop back into like, you know, kind of choruses or verses, but dude, it's wonky, but it's fucking solid.
Yeah.
So what do you have as your number one banger, your 1B? What do you got?
So if I could put the God trilogy as one song, then that would be my 1B.
Okay.
If we're not doing that, then my 1B would be, what is it? Scroll up. We Love You.
We Love You. Okay. So I mean, the God trilogy, I didn't rank it as one. I ranked them as separate songs, which I guess is a little unfair, but should we
even again, they did a trilogy of songs, and they're not shy of doing long ass songs, and so they do this trilogy of songs. And
well, let's talk about the trilogy then. Let's talk about the God trilogy here.
So it's only it's not even 10 minutes long, so they could have just made it one fucking song.
True.
But then they didn't because fuck it, who cares? I don't want to. Again, weird, right?
Well, I think it's also like we talked about last week on the, was it last week? What did we do last week? Hell, what the hell did we do?
NWA last week? Or the week
No,
before?
we did.
Oh, Van Halen. We did Van Halen last week.
Or Van Halen, yeah. So remember that album is only 9 tracks. And we talked about how, they probably have to have a certain amount of tracks to consider it an actual album, not an EP. That might have been the same thing here, because if you combine those songs into one, it's only going to be 10 tracks right there. And then the last song, Life Is But a Dream, I mean, even that song you could tack on to the God trilogy. So then at that point, you only have 9 songs. So I think it comes down to, is this a full-length album? Is it an EP? Even though it's like 53 minutes long. I think it might be one of those things, too, where they had to separate them into separate tracks.
I mean, interesting enough that part of this was recorded in Pasadena, and we just did a Van Halen episode.
Yeah.
But I think those days are gone. This is their first album back with Warner, right? They had a little bit Bad Blood with Warner in the prior albums leading up to this. But I don't think at this point Avenged Sevenfold releasing an album that's 50 minutes long, 9 tracks, 8 tracks would be considered an EP. I think this is
it may not have been a problem, but I think maybe it could have had something to do with distribution rights or maybe royalty rights, because maybe they make less if it's,
I think
if it's
streams.
considered an EP.
I think they're thinking of streams at
yeah.
this point. I think
that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like who wants to playlist a fucking 10-minute song? But playlisting 1 or 2 3-minute songs of a 10-minute suite is a lot easier.
That's true. That's a very good point.
I would probably think that. But yeah, the God trilogy, I think that is the best thing on this. There's highs, there's lows, there's parts of this that I just even still like listening to this week, I just don't fucking like why did you write this? What made you do this? What made you think this was a good idea?
I mean, all 3 songs are very different. So I mean, you have the song G, and then you have the song Ordinary, and then you have the song Death. So starting out with G, I mean, this right here is my 3B, my third banger. Like if I were to take it out of the trilogy, this is my third banger.
Full on prog. This is full on prog.
Dude, this is like the intro, which they play throughout parts of the song too. The intro is straight up Rush. That's what it is. It's like a trippier version of Rush.
Except Brooks is
oh my god, dude.
He's playing the drums like I would play the drums.
You got to stop
Brooks is
with
not,
this Brooks hate.
Brooks is not good on this one. This is the one I was talking about. He's not good.
Oh my god.
He's not good.
Neil Peart.
He's not anybody. He's not.
Dude, I don't know why you hate this guy so much. I don't get it.
On this song, on G, on specifically
prior to this
one,
week,
he's not good on this.
Prior to this week, you've had nothing but great things to say about Brooks. But now, come on, dude.
Well, I gotta bring you down a peg because Brooks is not.
He's
God.
so good on this record. He's not. He's not.
He's fine on this record. He's
incredible on this record.
I think you could replace Brooks with Josh Freese and you would not know a fucking difference.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think there's anything on here that's like, oh, that's iconic Brooks, because I don't think there's anything iconic Josh, because Josh is a fucking studio drummer.
Also, Brooks, this is like him experimenting. This is him showing off a little bit with Avenged Sevenfold.
At what point? I've never heard any showing off on this one.
It's there's some show off moments, but there's also some really kind of nuanced fills, some great footwork from Brooks, not just on this song, but over this record as well as the stage. He has there's some great footwork going on in both records. I feel like that's what sets him. That's one of the things that sets him aside from the Rev. The Rev is more of a straightforward metal drummer.
See,
Brooks can throw in.
No way.
Brooks can throw in a little bit of metal, a lot more punk, but also he has some of the jazz chops too. There's some good jazzy stuff. No,
he does not. There's no shuffle whatsoever with Brooks. Not whatsoever. No. What the Rev does better than like Brooks I've ever could even possibly do. So like I don't know what it's called when drummers do it, but it's where you do like the way I do it when I play the drums. You know, as an infant playing drums, you start with like the bass, the do like that do. So you do bass, like snare, one tom, snare, another tom. So it's really quick. So it's like that, like a roll, I guess. But you're using 2 different toms, a snare, and the bass, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like a 4-hit roll. The Rev would do like an 8-hit roll in the same amount of time as like Brooks could do a 4-hit roll. but then the Rev could also do like an 8-hit roll over the same amount of time like Brooks could do an 8-hit roll, and the Rev would do it tighter, better, but then he could also slow it down if he wanted to, depending on the song that they were playing. And again, it was too early. I think like Avenged Sevenfold peaked now because now these guys aren't taking themselves so seriously. So I would just love to hear the Rev play these songs.
And they have a better drummer.
I just don't think that Brooks is... I think Brooks is like a great studio musician. I think like you put him in a studio, dude, he'll fucking slay. Absolutely.
See,
he can play anything.
I would have said the same thing. I honestly would have said the same thing about Brooks.
He's good at
prior to the
not
stage.
Not great at anything.
I would have said the same thing. He's an amazing studio drummer, but I feel the way he's been able to shine on the stage, and especially this record, has just completely exceeded my expectations of the guy. Absolutely.
Here's like the big difference, right? I don't remember any drum parts of this album except for one, and that's this one. And he starts the song off pretty shitty. I do remember one drum part that the Rev did in Backcountry. Granted, I've heard that song 100 times, but you don't forget those do boom boom boom. You don't forget those. That's fucking good.
Because all you're remembering are the busy parts. Like the Rev was amazing. He was an amazing drummer, but he was a very busy guy, and that's what people know him for the most. Is his busyness. It wasn't really about playing to the song. It was about, let's just throw in a shit ton of notes, come up with some cool parts, some cool transitions.
But that's not what the Rev did, though. That's not what he did.
Because
he did not. For the most part, he did. He was not Travis Barker busy. Like, no, he was though. He was like a bounty hunter. He was fearless and inventive. I don't hear that from Brooks. I don't hear him being fearless. I disagree. This is a perfect example. The song G.
Oh, it's a perfect album?
Well, hold on there, dude.
This
is a perfect example. This is a cool like fucking prog song. This is a cool prog song with these guys. Is. But like, dude, Brooks is not playing prog drums. He's just not.
Okay, you're right.
It's cute. It's cute. But that doesn't make that like literally makes him not a good drummer.
But they're also not a
great
prog
drummer.
They're also not a prog band. They have prog elements on this record and the stage. I'm not saying that he is this amazing prog drummer. He's not fucking Neil Peart. He's not at all.
He's not an amazing drummer.
He's not Phil Collins. You know, it's like he's not that kind of drummer.
He's an amazing jack of all trades drummer. Yes,
he is fantastic.
Yes,
and I still say he writes better parts for the songs than the Rev did outside of Backcountry and a couple other songs. No. Overall, Brooks has written better drum parts than the Rev, and I stand by it. I don't care.
I don't think Brooks has written any drum part that I've thought like, damn, that was fucking unique. I've never heard anybody do that before. He's just good. He's really good at being. he's like the best of the B tiers.
Because
he will never be A tier.
I get what you're saying. He's not doing anything that's like so revolutionary or whatever, but who gives a fuck if it's not revolutionary? He's playing to the song. He's adding.
But if you're not revolutionary, then you can't be one of the best. Like, dude, come on.
This is like arguing with like Primus, like arguing the differences between Jay Lane, Tim.
Jay Lane's
and
better.
Brian.
You're right. They're all three of them are better. Yes, correct. I agree.
No, but it's like arguing the differences between those three guys. They all have their own kind of unique style. They're all equally amazing.
Brooks does not have a unique style.
On these records, he does.
He does not.
I'm not talking about the
style whatsoever to Brooks. There's not. Dude, he has no unique style.
No, I totally disagree with you on that. I completely disagree with you. His flourishes, his
he doesn't do any flourishes. What does he do?
Dude,
what does he do?
Dude, he's so tight. I think I still say it. He's a tighter drummer than the Rev was.
You got really your goggles on. You got your goggles on.
No, I
That's
don't.
Fine.
What goggles? Which goggles? Which ones do I have on today?
Clearly that you're
Which
fucking
ones do I have
dumb
on today?
Brooks goggles. I don't know where you bought them, but you overpaid for them. That's for sure.
You got to get a pair, man.
I hear nothing about it.
You got to get a pair. They're nice. They're good goggles.
If it'll make me see the bullshit that you see, then maybe I should get a pair.
Anyway, enough of the shit talking of Brooks Wackerman, because it's not fair. It's not nice.
But
it's unwarranted.
Okay, so what you're doing now is I'm shit talking Brooks so much is because you're hyping him up to be bigger than I think he is. What you could have said was enough Brooks like praising. Let's move on, right? You could have said that, but you said enough shit talking Brooks. It's like I'm not because I still think he's a great drummer.
You are shit talking him. All you've literally had nothing nice to say about the guy. in this band.
I keep
or really
saying
any
he's a
band
great
been
drummer. I keep saying he's a great drummer. I said he's the fucking
no,
like the Deep
he's a
Purple
great,
of drummers.
He's a great studio drummer,
amazing
but he's not good
beat
for
here.
this band. He's not good for this band. He's not
I never
good
said he
for
wasn't
anything.
good for this band. This is the best album.
You're out of your fucking mind.
And I think he's at this point. I think he's better than the Rev because the Rev fucking died at 28 years old, and Brooks had 5 years on the Rev. He was older, experienced. The Rev just didn't have enough time. But goddamn, if you're gonna sit there and tell me that Brooks is more inventive and more creative than the Rev, you're fucking out of your goddamn mind. Absolutely,
I'm not. I stand by what I said.
The Rev alone, on my
wholeheartedly-
least favorite Avenged album, Avenged,
Mm-hmm.
the Rev is more creative on that album than I have ever heard Brooks be in his entire career.
I disagree. I
You're
really
fucking bonkers if you tell me otherwise.
I just told you otherwise.
You're
and I'm
literally
not bonkers.
out of your fucking mind.
I'm not wearing
Brooks
the
is
goggles.
not
I'm not
creative.
bonkers. So let's get back into G and the God trilogy here.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot more, like a lot of Rush stuff going on here. And then, they're really good on this record about dropping into like the heavier riffs. And this particular song, when they drop into that, Mr. Shadows, he does more of that, like that talk singing thing that he does. And so there's some good solid double bass fills throughout that as well. This song is all over the place. And then you get to that pre-chorus with the girls singing. I forgot their names, but you get that pre-chorus where they're singing,
the hell
and then
that? Where did that even come from?
It drops into the chorus, and then they're kind of singing this like melodic harmony, like they're kind of harmonizing with Shadows. I don't know. The chorus is fucking weird. It's so fucking weird, but it's awesome, totally awesome. And there's like this weird kind of funk thing going on too during the chorus for no reason at all, but it works. It totally works. I don't. Nothing about this song, this album makes any fucking sense.
So so there's a lot of things here. One, yeah. I like that they try to pretend that they're like prog gods for a minute. And what makes it work is like these guys aren't prog gods. They're not great at it. And so they do it just long enough for us to be like, wow, this is pretty fucking good. But they don't let it hang around. You know what I mean? Like George Costanza, you tell your joke and you get the fuck out of there. You don't linger. These guys don't linger here. So if you linger long enough, we would realize these guys are not prog gods, but they don't linger. They get the fuck out of there. And so we think that they're prog gods. One thing. The next thing was, those like background vocals. What the fuck? Cool contrast. I like it. You forget this is a metalcore band, right? That came from Orange County and that scene. Like, what the fuck is happening here? And then I also like, you're right, that they do throw in kind of that funky thing here and there. It's super subtle. It's buried. It's not the focal point of what's happening because there's a lot of the vocal aspect of the song. And that's what is really driving this specific part of the trilogy forward is the vocal part. But that's awesome because that's what prog bands do. That's what the Grateful Dead did all the time, dude. Is they introduce like concepts that they would explore in the next 3 or 4 minutes. And that's what this band did in the O and the D. Is they would bring back those funk things and fully explore it. Not great still, but they still did it.
They did it, and I still think they did it well. They really did do it well.
They did it fun. They did it fun.
Okay, fair. Yeah, they did it fun. They did it fun.
And that's all. That's what I want. That's all. I just want to have a good time. You know what I mean? Like I just want to have a fucking good time when I'm listening to an album like this.
And I had a blast listening to this one.
His vocal styles here remind me of that Soprano song though. Woke up this morning. That's how he sings.
The Nick Cave song? Is it Nick Cave, right?
I don't
know.
No.
Wait, who sang the soprano? Hold on. The theme song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that? I thought it was Nick Cave.
Well,
why? Wait.
Probably
who
some
sings
English
it,
thing. I don't know. That would be kind of funny if it was like an English thing and not. I don't know. I guess wherever the Sopranos was based off. Was that in like Jersey?
Yeah, it was New Jersey. Yeah. Yeah. The Alabama 3. That's the name of the band.
Fuck is the Alabama 3? Who are the three?
They're a British band from. They're a British band. Alabama 3 from their 1997 album Exile on Cold Harbor Lane. Well, that's a dumb name, dude.
That's all of the Alabama 3 is a dumb name.
I know.
It sounds too much like this band Alabama. And that band's fucking terrible.
What? I'm so confused. Okay, I'm really confused. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
What is confusing?
I don't know. Because now I'm reading like Leonard Cohen might have sang it. I don't know.
What?
It's Alabama 3. Let's just say it's Alabama 3.
Okay.
That's who it is.
That's what Shadows reminds me of when he's singing in this one is that kind of delivery, just like goofy, lower register, I don't know, lighthearted shit. I dig.
And the solo in this song too, compared to the rest of the record, the solo is pretty modest. Considering, Sinister, your boy Sinister is a pretty
Too Wise.
Too Wise. He's a pretty crazy guitar player, but he also like runs his guitar through like some weird effects too. So it's not your normal. It's just not a normal solo for him, and I liked it. Like it really added to the weirdness of the song, and then dropping into Ordinary, the next part, dude. It's a straight up like funk song. That funky bass line, the guitar comes in, has that 70s kind of synth sound to it. Mr. Shadows is using a little bit of auto tune. It sounds so good, and that's the entire song, and I think it's solid, man. Solid stuff.
It's a good song. I like it. This would be my 5B if I didn't group them all into like one trilogy.
Yeah, this is Ordinary is my 6B.
Yeah,
and much like the first part, the G during G, you get this kind of weird solo from Sinister, and then in this one you also get a weird solo too, where he's kind of running it. His to me it sounds like he's running his guitar through like this synth pedal mixed with some heavy duty fuzz on there. Like it's this weird, really cool sounding thing that he's really putting out there with his solo. I think, dude, he nails it. He really nails it on both of these songs.
Are we in Ordinary already? Because I was still in G.
Oh, you're still in G? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ordinary.
I moved on to Ordinary. Sorry.
Okay, so Ordinary like clearly starts off with that fucking like Stranger Things sounding intro. I don't know if you watch Stranger Things, but that's what it fucking sounds like, straight up.
You never watched Stranger Things?
No, have you never watched Stranger? You don't watch anything post like 1995. I just don't know if you watch newer TV shows.
We did a podcast on Stranger Things.
We did a podcast on Twin Peaks, but we didn't do
also
on Stranger Things.
Remember Nerd Confessions? We spent like almost an hour talking about Stranger Things when it first came out.
We all watched it. I don't know if you watched it. Did you ever finish? Did you finish this first season of Stranger Things?
I watched the whole series. Are you fucking serious?
You did not fucking watch the whole series of Stranger Things. No.
Yes, I did. We've talked about this. We've talked about this so many times.
You hate 80s music. You hate kids. You hate dramas. Oh, it's all the things that you hate. Why would you finish that series?
You're exhausting me today. Like this is,
and even
I'm exhausted.
If we did do it during Nerd Confessions, there's no way because Stranger Things was it
the first season
Nerd Confessions.
The first season came out right when we started Nerd Confessions.
Yeah, and everybody.
So that's why we talked about it.
Everybody and their mother watched the first season, but there's no way you watched all seasons of Stranger Things.
Oh my god,
no
dude.
way.
You're
no
we've talked about this.
No
Anyway, moving on. 0-2.
0-2. Oh yeah, the intro here reminds me of Stranger Things. It does.
Annoying.
It doesn't remind you of Stranger Things. It
does. It does. I know exactly what you're talking about.
What is annoying about that?
You're just annoying. Never mind. You're just annoying.
So
I kind of thought.
Do you want to finish like the previous argument here? So that way you stop saying that's annoying every time.
I just think you're annoying. I just want to have the last word.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so say it now. Say it.
You're annoying for saying what you said about Stranger Things. Okay. Moving on.
So we're good there.
So,
but then this one turns into that super funky track. But you heard the funkness a little bit in the first one. You heard it in G.
Yes.
Is that what you were talking about?
That's where
you should have been able to pick it up because it was there again. Just like the Grateful Dead do it. They throw out little breadcrumbs here and there, and that's prog. That's prog and that's jam band,
prog, dude.
And this track slays so fucking hard. Everyone is riffing perfectly. But no one's showing off. And these guys could show off if they want to, but they don't. Great bass lines, but not too squirrely. Brooks here, I'll give him that. He's just keeping the beat. And that's what makes like a good drummer in person is just keep time. That's all I want you to do. And that's what he's kind of doing here. He's just keeping time. And again, They did this numerous times throughout the album, but we get that Daft Punk sound going on because this sounds like fucking Daft Punk. And then, damn, dude, that ending synth saw, it just gets so fucking loud. And it hurt my ears when I had the earbuds in, so I had to turn it down. And then when I was listening on the vinyls, I had it pretty loud. And that last, like, that crescendo into the outro, it got really, really loud. And I like that. I dig.
So then G sits as your number 5 then, right?
Yes.
And then so where does Ordinary sit?
Ordinary would be a little bit lower. They would be like a 7 because Ordinary doesn't work unless you have the intro to it.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. And, you know, I also agree with you that, you know, that little funk part in G was a perfect way to set up what was going to happen in Ordinary. That it was perfection. That's really what that is. That is just that's great songwriting. Truly is. And then I talked about the solo in this one as well already, so we don't really need to touch upon that. Do we have anything else on G and Ordinary?
That's all I got.
Okay, so let's move on to the last part, and then we'll get into the lyrics. We'll touch upon the lyrics, because I actually really liked Shadow's lyrics on this entire record. Except for one song. There's one weak song, but
conceptually, I like the lyrics.
Same here. So let's get into Death real quick. What do you have on this one?
Dude, Death was so good, man. This is just like continuing the funky instrumentals from the previous song, but now we have a Disney song. This is like the first dance a prince and a princess have together. Like, think Beauty and the Beast when he finally turns back into a human and they're dancing together. This song is fucking goofy as fuck, which is fun because it's a complete contrast to like the supposed meaning of the song. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I like that we're like musically ending on a high note and thinking like everything's happy and everything's fine, everything's great. Like the prince got the princess, and that's amazing, because then it leads to like that abrupt ending. And there's a lot of comparisons on this album, I thought, to Coheed. Coheed utilizes a lot of like orchestral arrangements in their songs without actually hiring an orchestra to do the orchestral arrangements. But there's a lot of comparisons to Coheed. And damn, dude, I like this song a lot. I think this is as complex these guys could have got in their lane. I don't think they're, man, it sounds really, really negative to say, but I don't think they're good enough to get more complex than this.
Death, it has that, it's just like that kind of slow, happy movie. It's like a very, like you said, it's like a very movie score sounding thing. Brooks is kind of doing this like swingy kind of jazz thing here. And then Shadows is just trying to be Frank Sinatra, the way he's singing. It just sounds so ridiculous. But then, like you mentioned too, the song builds into like this kind of frantic thing, and just it's perfect. Just it's a perfect way to round out the song. Death is just it's a crazy song that just sounds like nothing they've ever done. I really, really think that it's unique for sure. You would think it's like the perfect ending to this album, but damn, dude, I really, really love Life Is But a Dream too. I love it so much. You need that piano. Like, Life Is But a Dream is just your boy Sinister.
That's my boy Sinister with two Y's. Oh my God, it's so good.
Just play. It's a piano ballad. That's really what it is. It's like a 4.5 minute piano ballad, and it's a great way to kind of, because you hit that climax at the end of Death. And then now everything is just kind of falling into place, back to normalcy with Life Is But a Dream, and everything is just nice and pleasant, and it's just a great story from a musical standpoint. The whole God trilogy and then Life Is But a Dream. It's fantastic. I think it's great songwriting.
Perfect. It's absolutely perfect. These guys stay in their fucking lane. They extend themselves to really push like their musical boundaries. But they don't do it too much to where it just sounds like, dude, you're trying too hard and it sounds like shit. Because Avenged Sevenfold has always sounded like they're trying too hard. Oh, and so like this is the perfect blend of being proficient enough to wow me, but not complex enough to lose my interest. Like, I'm not listening to fucking, I don't know, any classical artist here contemporary classical artist that I don't know the name of, that will lose my interest because I don't know a lot of the nuance to that music. and it's not just some silly outro that lasts like a minute or so, right? It's a full fucking composition. It's almost 5 minutes long. There's melodies here. There's some tone changes. There's tempo changes. Like overall, it's just, dude, it's a killer way to end the record and leave us thinking.
It was impressive. It really was
impressive. What
impressive.
just listen to?
What is this record?
What are you doing?
Like, overall, this record too. Like, I would say, like you get halfway through this record and you're like, okay, this record seems to be very top heavy. Like, the first 4 or 5 songs are just like a punch in the face. Like, what the fuck did I just hear? Like, just the craziness of it. I don't want to say there's a lull in the middle of the record, but it definitely transitions into what becomes the God trilogy. And then to me, I'm just kind of like blown away by what the fuck did I just hear the last 15 minutes with the God trilogy and the last song. So this album has a little bit of everything. It has the weird quirkiness. It has the hardcore thrash elements. It has the prog stuff. It's just everything about this record is so unique and so not what you would expect from this band. It's crazy good. And this record has gotten kind of shit reviews by fans, especially. Like, it's a very mixed reaction. I'm actually very surprised at how mixed it is.
If you look at like reviews of people that are expecting an Avenged record, then yeah, it's not getting great reviews because it's not like an Avenged record, I guess, in heart. But if you look at reviews from people like me that just have never really liked this band at all and are coming into this pretty new, like everybody loves it in that sense. But like Avenged fans are kind of like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing here? You're wasting Sinister and you're wasting Zacky Vengeance. Like, ugh. Who did the least amount on this record? But that's all right.
Oh man! But this record is an example of an album where they decided to do something different and it actually worked out really well. Because I always talk about bands like Atreyu. They're doing something different and it ends up being shit. Like, it's not always good to do something different just for the sake of it. But in this instance, it really fucking worked. To really go out on a limb, try hard, and just fucking succeed. They fucking nailed it on this record. Absolutely nailed it. Which we're going to get more into on some of the other songs because we haven't even got into our top 3 bangers yet.
That is true. I mean, this would be like if it's one epic like suite, this would be my 1B. This last part, Life Is But a Dream, at parts too, it sounds like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, specifically the Great Gig in the Sky type of thing. But I like, and the reason why I can't even listen to that song anymore is because of the background vocals. That whole like whoever's singing in the background of that Great Gig in the Sky song from Dark Side that's so fucking annoying, and it irritates me. And I like that they have that same sound, that same kind of draw. They're exploring kind of a sound, a tone, a melody, and putting it out for over like 2 minutes long. But it's just a piano again, and it's not like fancy high parts with the right hand and like chords in the left hand or whatever. It's pretty evenly balanced. It's easy to follow. It's easy to digest. I think my boy Sinister with 2 Y's, I think he fucking slays at this song. If we're picking MVPs, I'd probably pick Sinister with 2 Y's as my MVP for the album.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's close, but
he's never broke out of his shell like this. He's this band's one dimensional up until the stage. This band's been one dimensional.
Yeah, you're right. What is your number 1 banger, your 1B on this record?
Again, if I didn't have to, if I wasn't able to, if you didn't allow me to, if we're not capable of putting the three songs into one, then it would be "We Love You." "We Love You" is my favorite.
Okay, yeah, "We Love You" is my 2B. So let's jump into that one. It's a good one, man. It almost made my number. It was my number 1, and then I had to go back and put something over it because I don't know. Anyway, let's get into "We Love You."
You probably like "We Love You" because Brooks kicks this one off, right? He's got that cool little beat, and what makes this one cool is it drops into like a slow jam, right? The vocals and guitars are slower than the beat. Like, he's kind of busy. He's kind of like driving things forward a little bit faster, and they slow it down. I like that contrast.
I do too.
That's very unlike Avenged Sevenfold. And
Oh,
it's
man.
fucking cool. I dig it.
Dude, that punk metal beat that Brooks is doing is fucking solid. That use of that little China crash, it's not like it doesn't sound like a normal big loud China. It's like one of those smaller, tiny ones. The kind that that friend of the pod, Dave's brother.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah, that Tony had that little China
10-inch
thing.
one or whatever it is.
Yeah, dude, that's what it sounded like, and I was just like, oh, dude, that's such a nice little touch to the song, and to add to the chaos that is, that intro with the fast beat. Oh, it's so good, so goddamn good. That bass too is kind of noodly during the intro. It's solid.
And
So
this is
solid.
this is for sure the time of the album, specifically that more power, that I was like, what the fuck am I listening to? What is?
know.
And honestly, dude, the first time I heard it, I just didn't know. I didn't know if I liked it. I didn't know if I hated it. I didn't know what to think. It was so disorienting. I'm still fucking blown away by it, even when I play it like on the vinyls. It comes on like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing?
I know.
Who told you to do this?
It's so robotic too, and then on top of that, you have Brooks just sitting back hitting the single kick. That's all he's doing, just hitting the single kick to make it sound more robotic and electronic, really. And it's so effective, so goddamn effective. And then it drops into that chorus that's more melodic and everything. But damn, dude, this song is all over the place.
I fucking love it. But even like the guitar riffage during that like more money part, like the guitar riffage is really cool. It's not just doing the robotic like kick drum like Brooks is doing. It's kind of like offbeat, but also kind of like on its own little path there. So everything is just coming together in a way that just shouldn't make any sense. And there's so many fucking noises in this song. Like, again, when we did LMFAO, like those guys who clearly just found like some kind of sampler program and just were pressing buttons because it sounded funny. That's like this song. There's so many fucking noises in this song.
Well, I would say too, overall, this entire record it's very layered. I mean, and in this song specifically, at a minute and 20, it drops into this kind of like electronic wind up. Like wind up is the best way to describe the sound, and then it just drops back into that robotic verse of Shadows saying that spoken word thing. It's just weird, and just how quickly things change up, and then a little over 2 minutes, it drops into this kind of like ethereal synth thing that gets kind of heavy and thrashy, and then Shadows comes in with some screams for like no reason. The ups and downs of this song are insane. None of it should make sense, but it does for some reason. I don't get it at all.
So another thing too is Jason Freeze. He's credited with synth on I think like 5 or 6 songs on the album.
Yeah. And
if you look at the in-depth wiki on this album, it looks like Jason's credited with synth on this one in a way that makes me think that sound is him.
Probably, yeah.
Right? Because like, why even credit him if he's just like background synth shit that he's just doing as a studio person that you're going to pay him for anyway, whatever. So maybe that's him, and if that's true, then I hold him in a little bit higher esteem than I would have prior to that. But then even as the song progresses, without even being halfway done with this song, right? We're not even at the halfway point, and we're already dropping into this super fast hardcore punk fucking thing that they have not done properly since Waking the Fallen.
I know, right?
Have not done this sound
heavy
since Waking the Fallen. And it comes out of nowhere, and then it goes away. It's gone. Yeah. Love it. God, just tease me, dude. Why you tease me, girl? Why you tease me?
It's so short-lived because the solo hits at 2:50 and then it drops back into the spoken word at 3:20. So you get 30 seconds of the solo, and then just before that you get what you said, the throwback to the first 2 records for no fucking reason. But I fucking love it. It's so, I hate the word, but it's so random. It doesn't make sense, but it works. Oh man.
It's fucking bizarre. I don't know. It's fucking bizarre. It's bizarre. It's wild. And I don't think this may even be like the objectively best song on the album, but I think this is hands down the most fun. It's just, this is the most fun song. Fucking
most fun
stupid.
and most unique. I think the most unique song along with Nobody. Those 2 songs are just shit that they've never done as a band, ever.
Dude, and this outro is just, it's so plain and simple. It keeps
the
in
acoustic
theme.
guitar. Yeah.
And there's so much noise, and it's got to be a slide guitar, right? Because there's so much of that creaking and nuance to that slide, that stuff you hear that like Jack White does in his videos. It's good.
It's
a good fucking song.
And fun fact too, Jason Freese and Brooks Wackerman are best friends.
BFFs.
Yeah, they grew up together because Jason Freese is the younger brother to Josh Freese, and Brooks and Jason are the same age, so they grew up together.
Brooks Wackerman is the younger brother to Chad Wackerman, who played drums with Steve Vai.
That's true, but Brooks is a better drummer, so well, it's true, dude.
I didn't even say he wasn't.
I had to pull an extra Will Sasso there and wool you before you could even.
Oh my God! So Renee watches SVU a lot. God, that show. I love that show a lot, but
it's the same fucking thing.
But it's just always negative. Like every episode, dude. It's just like it beats you down. So anyway, she was watching today, and I was just like cooking something, and I looked over, and Will Sasso was on an episode today. So
it's so good.
It was a dark.
I'm sure
episode.
You didn't play a funny part.
No. It was dark as fuck. Yeah.
Nothing about that show is lighthearted or funny at all.
I don't think they've ever laughed at all on that show.
No.
Honestly, I swear to God, I don't think they've ever fucking smiled or laughed. That's a drama.
That is a drama, dude. Well, it is.
They made like 6,000 episodes of that piece of shit fucking show. I do like the show though.
You think you've been duped into liking it.
It's a good show.
Well, I don't know about that. Anyway,
I like that show. I would just say before we move on, I like that show a lot because there's a lot of procedural things that they do in court, and that's like my favorite part of the show.
You love the dryness of the judicial system.
I really do. Yep.
Oh boy. Okay, so let's jump into the lyrics a little bit. We haven't touched upon them at all. And I really do like the lyrics on this record. I think he kind of nailed it. He kind of killed it, especially for such a newer record. And I feel like people don't care about lyrics anymore. At least not something like this. There's some dark shit on here. A lot of suicide. A lot of questioning your own existence, religion. I was pleasantly surprised by his lyrics. I really enjoyed them.
I don't know. I don't know how he's written before this because I don't remember when we did Waking the Fallen. So I don't know if he's gotten better, worse, the same. I don't know. But I agree. I think, even though I don't think he's like a great songwriter, and it's not like complex, I'm thinking and having to do a ton of research. It's pretty superficial, but I think it's like Bob Dylan superficial. Like it's there. I love it. I dig it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I enjoy it.
He paints the pictures really well. Some of them are kind of on the nose. Some of the lyrics are on the nose, but he does a good job of being literal and painting a picture of the metaphors and things like that. I think he absolutely nailed it.
Do you have like deep complex lyrics for the trilogy? Do you want to get into those? I mean, I don't have like anything I really want to talk about for those ones. There's a couple songs that I really want to talk about, but not those ones.
G is to me is about God creating man. In turn, he's bored with man, so he fucks with them, and then in the end, he gets bored and just deletes the whole simulation.
He just starts over.
Yeah. And then, ordinary to me, it's about a robot wanting to have emotions or a consciousness, and it could also be about being lost or severe depression and wanting to get out of that kind of darkness. Like I feel like that song dabbles in both of those topics. And then Death is about the act of him writing a suicide note, the process of, or not the process, but like, of him jumping off of a bridge, and then like kind of that sweet bliss he feels of moving on to the next realm of, life and death, I guess. I don't know, the afterlife.
I did think there was a lot of like spirituality on this record.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of it.
And I agree that like the G part of God was from the perspective of God. And I like that God's just kind of like douchebag, right? Like a kid with a fucking magnifying glass over ants. She's like, yeah, you guys are boring me. Let me just see if I can fucking burn or send a comet your way or some shit. And in the end, just getting frustrated and starting over. Like, that's cool. That's some Like that's gonna piss somebody off for sure type of lyrics. And like the O part of it, yeah, I agree. It was from like the perspective of like a robot, but I think that that's like robots only do what we program them to do type of thing. So kind of like a fate, like I'm not in control of my own life. I think that's where that was trying to go. I don't think he's a great songwriter, so I think he could do it. But I think that's what I got out of that. And the D part was literally like, this is a dream, so who gives a fuck what I do anyway? Even if it's not a dream, like you can still just be like killing yourself type of thing. But I think it was just a cool way to end the album because it went along with the music. And sometimes like, I think these artists just have like cool music and they think that how can we end this crazy like orchestral thing on like that crescendo and then drop and then done. Like that sounds like someone's dying, right? That sounds like somebody's falling to their death and dying. But that's sad as fuck. How do we transition that into something better, into a more conceptual thing? And that's where Life Is But a Dream comes in, the last song. That's some like, I imagine that it's some like afterlife purgatory thing, right? Like have you ever seen The Matrix? There's the whole like afterlife purgatory subway scene where everything's really white and there's an Indian couple with their daughter and Keanu Reeves is stuck there in purgatory, and like that's what I imagine this being. Is like, where do I go next? What do I do next? Who am I? What am I supposed to do here? And I think even just talking about these things is just elevates his songwriting better than a lot of the stuff that we talk about on the pod, to be honest.
I agree, especially when we come off of albums from like Van Halen or LMFAO, which have no substance whatsoever. And after this little discussion here, our thoughts on it, it kind of, I guess you could make the trilogy make sense lyrically. I mean, the G part of it is his view on God and how him Shadow's thinking, God doesn't care about us. He just views us as, like you said, ants. We're just insignificant. Like we're so insignificant that he could just delete the file and that's it. That's the end of existence. That's it. That's all. So it leads into ordinary, where it's just, there's no point in life. Like that's where the severe depression comes in. And that's where, it's just, life is meaningless, absolutely meaningless at this point, because that the God that everybody talks about doesn't actually care. So it's this loneliness, just that despair almost. And then death is the final point. Like life is meaningless. Life is but a dream. Life, it means nothing. So why does it matter if I just go jump off a bridge and die? Like at least I get this rush at the end, this bliss at the end of falling, and then that's it. That's all. And so I guess that would be kind of the theme, that the despair, the loneliness, being completely lost in life and not believing in anything, or believing in what he believes in.
It's good. It's good.
It is good.
Pretty good.
It is good. It is
again, much like the concept of this album is very. Let's get as deep as we possibly can without overextending ourselves to become goofy. Let's make a prog song the best that we could possibly do without becoming goofy. It's good.
And they did it. They did it on this record. So let's go back to "We Love You" from the band. What do you have lyrically on this one?
I thought this is one of the more simplistic concepts. Consumerism ideals. Yeah. I think it's kind of cool. The spoken word part is so like blatant and obvious, right? The more, rather than trying to be like deep or complex. I like the simplicity in that, just getting it out there. So early on in the album too. The fourth track, I think the third and fourth track of albums are usually should be the more kind of like thought-provoking, thesis emphasizing ones, right? Like the opening track is kind of like the thesis statement. The second track, you're kind of just coming down from it. And the third and fourth should be the ones that are really emphasizing the point that you're going to carry on the rest of the album. Yeah, and I think the fourth track does that.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. And lyrically on this one, I agree with you. Consumerism, how corporations are out there in the media telling us we need to do, to be happy. This is what we need to do. We're constantly being fed this kind of propaganda almost. And then I like, as stupid as it is, it really works. And he does it well when when he says "we love you," it's like yeah, it's just like it's this kind of like sarcastic way of the corporation saying that we love you because you buy our products. Like, it's just it's a very dark. It's a happy sounding song, but it's a dark way of presenting it, or not presenting it, but dark lyrics, I should say. I don't know. I thought the lyrics were solid on this song. They were solid, not the most complex, but solid. So, "We Love You" is your 1B. So, "Game Over" is my 1B.
Oh,
the opener. Where does this one sit for you?
It's my 2B, baby.
Okay, so I mean, god damn, dude, what a fucking opener, right?
It's pretty good.
The first 35 seconds, that kind of happy, ethereal sounding guitar, and then all of a sudden it drops into this aggressive, kind of frantic thing too. It comes out of nowhere. You don't expect it. It's something they haven't done since Waking the Fallen, something like this at least. This chaotic. And then that kind of chorus hits at a little bit after a minute. The drum rolls are fucking crazy cool. Those drum rolls that Brooks does are fucking awesome. And yes, he's busy, but there's enough space to where the other guys can shine during the chorus. Because he's not being overly loud. Yes, he's busy, but he's not loud, and just the nuance in maybe it's the mix too. I don't know. In the production, I just think this song is fucking awesome.
I agree.
The ups and downs too.
I agree with Brooks here. I really do. I think he throws in so many fucking rolls. There's so many notes, while the melody is equal parts like catchy and goofy in the chorus. And the bass pushes through, and it's super loud and it's burpy, and it's not overly complex or anything, but you can fucking hear. It's like like somebody's burping. It's burpy. But dude, like this intro, this is wild. This is like Jethro fucking sounding. It's so goofy. It's so stupid. This intro is stupid. For an Avenged album, this intro is stupid. It sets up this album absolutely perfect. But then I think it drops into this weird, like, wild, frantic System of a Down kind of pacing. It gets into this thing that's just like like fucking like Sugar, right? Like go kombucha, burn out, like just something weird like that. And this song is full on leaning into the absurdity of what will become this album. Like the bridge proves just how wacky this record is going to be. They've never done something this outwardly goofy and serious at the same time. And Sinister is the one playing the flute in the song, which I fucking absolutely love it. It's so dumb, right? Sinister with two Ys. Dude, goofy and amazing.
The whole song, it's like a little after 2 minutes, and the whole song just stops. And then it's the acoustic guitar, the flute, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then Mr. Shadows comes in and starts singing, and it's like he does this like falsetto kind of thing, and it doesn't sound good, but it's okay. Like it works, and you're so taken aback, and you're like, what the fuck am I listening to? This sounds like shit. And then out of nowhere, it just drops into chaos. Just absolutely drops into chaos, and then it ends.
Bizarre.
It's fucking it's an insane song. But yes, this is a great setup to what you're going to hear on the rest of the record. The fucking craziness, the weirdness, things that are so off the wall that you've never heard from this band are bundled into this one song. And then the song is called Game Over. Like what a great opener. Like just title wise, what a great opener.
As the opener, you called the opener Game Over, right? Just right off the bat. That's
Game Over for all you losers out there. Fucking, it's incredible. And then lyrically too, I really do like the lyrics. The way it's an extremely dark song. The way it builds up, going through his life as a child to an adult, and then at the end he hangs himself. And the way the words he uses, they're just singular words. He's not coming up with sentences. They're just single words that make sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly. Like when he's going through his adolescence, he's just I forgot the exact. I don't know. You could probably explain it better than I can right now, but
I think that the song itself is just a lot of word vomit, but it's good word vomit because it's all what I think is meaning. He's just kind of like misses opportunity, like what he really wanted to do in life, it just didn't happen, and therefore like he feels like he's past his prime of doing it anyway, and so then he kind of says at the end of it, like, "Can't you see life as but a dream anyway?" And so thus kicks off the album the concept of like life is futile, right? If in going into like the later God trilogy, where he brings up the robot thing of fate and we are programmed and predestined to do things, so you have no control anyway. And I think that he's already realizing that, like, I didn't do the things I wanted to do in life because that was not my fate. That's not what I meant to do, and that really fucking depresses him. And I don't know if I get like an outwardly aggressive like suicide thing over the course of any of the part of the album, or if it's just him. Even the D part of the God trilogy, I don't think it's him like literally committing suicide. I think it's just him finally caving into the fact that he has no control over his own life.
Well,
I mean that's the whole concept of the album, I think.
But then like the end of this song, Game Over, literally in the outro, he says, "Toss a rope over the branch and fall into the night, and here I swing from my family tree, say goodnight. Can't you see life is but a dream anyway?" Like there's a lot of it.
That's I again, like topically, yeah, like suicide, I get it. But I think like under the surface there, I don't know. It's like when you're arguing with somebody and you hit that point where you're so frustrated, like, I might as well just fucking die then, right? Because I have no choice in this fucking thing. I should probably just die. Because like you've been frustrated at that point. I don't know, maybe you have, maybe you haven't.
No, I think we've all been at that spot. Yeah.
And I think like if you truly do, and then we don't feel like that. It's just something you say because you're very, very frustrated. But if you truly, truly do feel like you have no control over your life, that is how you feel. Like I might as well fucking die because I have no control over my life, and everything's predestined. I don't know. I took a very more. What does that mean? Very Tyler Moore? Are we doing a TV show?
Very Tyler Moore, yes.
I took a very spiritual approach to this album, and I think this was battling with the idea of fate, and then just like being in control of your own life, which is so fucking bizarre for a band that's pretty goddamn successful, 8 albums deep.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
This is some third album shit.
I do like your more optimistic approach to his lyrics on this one. I really do. And really overall on this.
I don't think he's suicidal. I think he's just pointing out the futility of life in regards to fate and predestination kind of shit.
You could be right. But so I'm kind of like running through the lyrics again real quick on this one. So, I mean, the first line in this, open, blurry, nurture, loving, and then crawling, walking, fleeting glory. It's him. God, it's the one words, but they're building this world. As simplistic as it is, I do really like the world building. And then, you get farther into the first verse, and then it's, secret, toothless fairy pillow, money kissing, nervous hero, warmly ordinary, this daytime TV satisfies, extraordinary, these hand-me-downs worn in so nice. Like, it perfectly builds like every middle class kid's kind of upbringing, you know what I mean? Yeah. Who had like a kind of I guess for lack of a better term, like a normal life, as a kid. I think that was it was fantastic. And then the second verse, changes, hormones, high school threesome, roll call study, license, freedom. It's just novice flirting, first time lover. Like it's so stupid. It's so fucking dumb.
But he's growing up there, right?
But
like
it's
you
perfect.
See him
yes.
growing up. That's amazing.
It's so cool. I feel it's so cool how he's using these one words or one little phrases to just progress through his childhood, his adolescence up into his adulthood. And then I think it was just cool, really cool songwriting, really cool lyrics on this song. And that's another reason why this is my 1B.
But even later on in that same verse, right, when he says like the kind of the background, the call and response part of it, but the bestest part of waking up, and then this dark roast got me so fucked up. Yeah. Kind of the play into that coffee. But then now, like as an adult, instead of like going out and drinking all night, you look forward to kind of that mundane. I mean, you don't drink coffee. You eat your breakfast. It's the most disgusting fucking thing in the world. But the majority of people, well, they wake up in their daily routine. But even the daily routine itself is something as a child, as a teenager, you think like, there's no fucking way I'm ever going to have that. I'll never be one of those people that have a daily routine, have to have their coffee and have to eat oatmeal and have to have breakfast at this time. But you do it. You end up being that person.
Yeah,
because that's what we all fucking do.
We're creatures of habit.
I like that. That's good. That second verse is good, dude. That second verse is pretty good.
It is. It is pretty good. All right, so let's move on from Game Over. This was your 2B, you said, right?
That was my 2B.
Okay, so We Love You is my 2B, which we've already talked about. What's your 3B?
Mattel. Again, this is going in if I'm not counting the Sweet as my 1B.
Yeah.
So Mattel is my 3B.
Mattel is my 4, and G is my 3. So let's get into Mattel. What do you got on this one?
I'll start with the lyrics because the lyrics, I don't really care.
Okay.
Mattel, it's about living in a fake world. And I thought it was kind of interesting that we did this and this came out around the same time as the Barbie movie has been coming out, came out.
A lot of coincidences.
Yeah. Are these big coincidences or smaller coincidences, or are they just coincidences?
I think they're just coincidences. Are
there big coincidences versus smaller coincidences, or are they just coincidences?
They're all coincidences.
Mattel, my 3B. I this is just about living in a fake world lyrically. I didn't really connect with this one that much, but damn, dude, the music part of this, pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good.
I agree. I mean, being, just like coincidences, like we just talked about, it is weird we did this one lyrically
that's
too.
What we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, and lyrically, I think it's pretty. There's nothing too deep here. It's just him talking about how society and life is kind of meaningless. Everybody is just kind of playing pretend, and it's just there's nothing there. Nope.
It's not bad, but like we've heard this 1,000 times, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a breakup song. You've heard them one, you've heard them all, so it's whatever. It's fine.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I like that we're dropping right back into the metal, good chuggy metal.
It's like System of a Down.
I love that descending like slide with the saw effect, that thing that they're doing here over the course of the album. And dude, this chorus is just out there. He's singing like he does like it's not that great. It's passable, it's good. But then they add these little weird synth sounds to it to both like complement and ease the tension. I don't know, man. This chorus is fucking absolutely genius. It also sounds like he's about to start crying. Like he's dude, I don't know, man. This chorus gets me. This chorus gets me good. And I like the way he says hell. Like towards the end of the chorus.
Does he?
Fucking weird. Yeah, he says hell really weird. It's like
I don't have too much written about
fucking do it.
I don't have too much written about the chorus on this one. It was just more of like that System of a Down sounding riff, and then I really like the drum beat in that intro with the double bass, the use of the ride too. It just because I really like that kind of, I don't want to say back and forth with Brooks, but it's really good. And then how the verses end with, I don't know what it is, but it sounds almost like an 808 being hit, but ringing out as well, like ringing out longer than a normal 808 would. And they end the verses that way, and it's so cool. It's so weird, and it's so unexpected, but it really keeps your attention. And then the verses kind of also having the weirder, higher vocal parts too, which he's really kind of doubled and tripled down on this record. But man, everything Brooks does on this, I think, is fucking awesome. It really, really is awesome. And how fast he plays, to the point where it almost doesn't sound real, but it doesn't sound like what you hear on those.
Hold on there, dude, because he's doing his best, like double bass, and he's doing his best at playing as fast as he can.
Well,
but even here right now, he is not as fast as the Rev. He's just not.
I disagree.
He's not. He is not as fast as the Rev.
Maybe not with like the consistent double bass pedals, but I think with his his cymbal playing and his ride and the way he hits the ride, and really it's his ride and hi-hat playing that I'm very impressed with as well. I mean, he's extremely crisp, extremely tight. I think tighter than the Rev. The Rev can be better with the pedals, but it's the ride and hi-hat playing that really gets me with Brooks.
So here's like the biggest difference between like Brooks and the Rev at playing like metal music in the vein of Avenged, because we don't know what the Rev had been playing outside of Avenged because it's still, again, just still too young. But like Brooks is hitting just that easy 4 count, but he's just double bassing it a little bit. The Rev, however, will hit that easy 4 count, double bassing it damn near twice as fast as Brooks will. But then like the Rev will add all these little, hit the hi-hat, and then on like the beat he'll go to like the ride, the bell, and the tom-tom, and then snare, and he'll do all these fucking weird timing things that just don't make sense.
But it's too busy
in the first measure, but it's not too busy because he doesn't do it all the time. He only does it to complement the music when the music calls for it. I would have loved to hear the Rev take over this album and make this even more amazing than it already is.
I don't know, man. I think his busyness is detrimental to the music. The Rev is.
But he's not Travis busy.
But like when you throw him up against, I get this is actually an unfair, comparison. But throwing him up to Joey Jordison, who, was a very, very busy drummer, especially on the first 2 records. He's still, what he did was like
8 guys to back him up.
But what he did was leaps and bounds better than what the Rev did.
Oh yeah,
ever.
Of course.
I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I just don't think the Rev is great. He really was great. But I think you're discounting Brooks way too much. Way too much.
Here's what I got. I'm going to stick to it, and then we can put it to bed.
We're really repeating ourselves.
Because I don't want to, again, we can go on for fucking hours. I think the Rev is Avenged, but I think Brooks does an amazing fucking job at reviving Avenged. That's it.
Okay. He does an amazing job reviving Avenged, but also progressing the band.
Yeah. But I think the Rev will always be Avenged. Brooks would have a job
but only in a very pigeonholed manner, like in a very specific manner.
And it's because he died so soon, and we don't know what he would have done. Who knows?
He also did 5 records with them. 5 records is a lot, and we didn't see much progression outside of being kind of shitty.
But it's not that much because it is 5 records pretty damn soon with each other in a genre that was essentially erupting from where they came from.
But no, when you look at Metallica's
it's not a tried and true thing.
When you look at Metallica's first 4 records, all 4 records sound vastly different from one another.
Oh, hold on there, dude. They don't sound vastly different from each other.
They do.
The first 4 Metallicas sound... First of all, the first 2 fucking Metallicas are identical.
They're not.
They're both perfect records, but they're fucking identical. Get the fuck out of here. For Whom the Bell Tolls could have been on Kill 'Em All. 100%.
No.
Easy. Calm down.
This is what happens when you've only liked Metallica for like a year, 2 years, maybe. You're still learning. You're still learning, and I don't.
A band can be the best. A band can be the best at what they did, and historic and great, and have longevity, but also kind of sound similar from their first 4 albums, because their first 4 albums sound very fucking similar.
Anyway, no, they don't.
So relax there, guy. Get your goggles off. I know do you have a bucket next to you full of goggles for the various fucking albums that we do? Is that what's happening here? You get them on wholesale? What is happening over here?
Yeah, I do. I keep them. I hang them on the wall. I have little nails on the wall to hang them all and on display.
This is the best.
The little mannequin heads. Put them on the little mannequin heads.
Oh, that would be so good.
And then I buy wigs to make it look like the person.
Why would you buy wigs? For what purpose with the wig? Just to accent the goggles?
Yeah, to put on the mannequin head to look like whatever drummer whoever I'm trying to talk about. You know what I mean?
Okay, well,
like Brooks Wackerman hair, Joey Jordison hair.
We took a legit cool thing and just made it fucking weird. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what we do here.
This is the best chorus in the album.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yes.
What'd you do? Sing it. How'd you sing it?
I'm not. No, you.
And
you
I know it might sound crazy. That's what he does. It's so good.
Oh, you're even doing the stupid vibrato. Oh my god. It's so dumb.
But I smell the plastic. And then he says, in it seems we found ourselves. And then he goes, and then goes, and then it goes into that like hardcore fucking metalcore thing that they do.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. The solo here is good. I like the solo. Brooks is just doing his best double bass that he could possibly do. That's great.
Oh my god.
A lot of aggressive noises. And it's classic back and forth Avenged solo, but it's not exclusive to just guitar players, right? So now we're hearing the bass get in on it. We're hearing Brooks get in on it. Because, if you throw it back to like Backcountry, like that's like one of the coolest like back and forth solos.
I love that
hear.
back and forth.
It's so fucking rad.
Yeah.
But they're doing it here. But it's like, hey, like we did it already once with the guitars. Let's get everybody involved. Let's do back and forth with everybody, and it's fun.
There's even like back and forth with the synth. I think it's synth. It's a synth, or maybe it's a guitar run through like a pedal. I don't know, but no, it does sound like a back and forth between the guitar and synth.
It's also cool because this was also supposedly written like by the Rev, like that bridge part here was supposedly written by the Rev, which like on the surface level, like whatever, who cares, I guess. But like that's, I don't know, on a deeper, more like band driven level, that's rad. That's cool that they even found something that was saved or that was even in partly written by the Rev and then like expanded on it, incorporated it. I think that's absolutely amazing to pay like homage to a fallen comrade of the past.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Really cool. It is really cool. Oh man,
bonker song! I love this fucking song, dude.
I do too. You've already kind of talked shit on Mattel, but that's fine. Oh no, you talked shit on the lyrics. Sorry, my bad.
I didn't say talk shit on the lyrics. I said the lyrics are basic.
Basic, yes. All right. I don't know. There's only really one other song I kind of want to talk about, only because it's so different from their other music. But I'm good with wrapping it up after that. And it's it's what?
What?
I was going to say the song "Nobody."
Yeah, nobody. I definitely want to touch upon. I do have notes for everything, so I'm gonna touch upon everything because I don't fucking care.
Okay. Let's do it.
Run through them. Nobody's my 4B.
Okay, Nobody's my 5B. Okay. What do you got?
We kind of already talked about Nobody a little bit, right?
Yeah, we did. It's kind of a droning song.
Yeah, I like that negative space you leave in there. It's not just a continuous. There's a little bit of a gap there. I dig that. We talked about the Jason Freeze thing. I think he's responsible for that main synth sound. Otherwise, like, why would you credit him if he's just gonna be a bullshit artist in the background?
Yeah.
I also like the solo here.
It's great solo at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking solid. So good.
Again, this was the first time it reminded me of stuff like Coheed did. Like Coheed does this kind of shit really well. Just I don't know. It's the beat is slow. It's dramatic. It's not that like crazy or whatever. It's just everything is just building, like you said earlier, building this world, building this concept, this theme. I dig it.
Can we also talk about the hi-hat work, the hi-hat on this song?
Yeah. It's
fucking great. Come on. It almost sounds like it's programmed. That super fast hi-hat, it's wild. It's fucking insane, dude.
You're fucking insane. If all the stuff that is going on in this song, the orchestral arrangements, the fucking solos,
which we already talked about,
the crazy synth stuff that's back and forth. If you're focusing on the hi-hat work, then I think you didn't even listen to the song.
I did listen to the song, but we already talked about the other things, and I did want to bring up the hi-hat thing because it's so out of place with everything else that's going on in this song, especially during those kind of verses, or I guess it's more the chorus where it's still that kind of that trudging thing, but then Brooks is just, they're like fucking 64 notes. I don't even know, like they're so goddamn fast, but it's so tight and so crisp. Fucking nails it. He doesn't do it for a very long time, but it's just enough to be really, really effective. I totally dig it.
I think it's good. I think it's good in the way where like you're eating a piece of pizza and you're getting to the crust and you're kind of full and you're like, oh yeah, the crust is still good though. Like that's like the end result of a good song, but not like the focal point of it.
Okay, that's fair. That is fair.
You brought it up. I got to bring you down a little bit.
But I agree. It's not the focal point, but it's solid.
It's solid.
That's all you need.
Good. Yeah.
That's all you need. All right. Do we have anything else on Nobody?
What are the lyrics? The lyrics of this is fucking rad.
Yeah. What do you have on this one?
So like the song explores the idea of I think it's called monism or monism, and I think it refers to the idea that the universe is one. We are all one with the universe. Like everything is me, and I am one of everything. We are all connected in this weird Jedi way as one, rather than a group of individual parts. But I also think he plays in the idea that we are all kind of like nobody. We are all so insignificant to the outcome of the cosmos that it's both humbling and terrifying. That our existence on life will be erased, and you and me specifically, right? Like no matter who we become, we will probably be erased in the next 100 years. No one will ever fucking know who we are.
Yeah, it's again, that's scary. Not as scary though, but
it's humbling and terrifying.
It definitely is.
So good.
And this song, man, I agree with you that's what it is lyrically as well. It just shows, it's just him just thinking about the meaninglessness of life and how you're just a speck in a universe of just everything and nothing. I don't know. It's just,
what did Kansas say? Kansas put it perfectly. What did they say? What did Kansas say?
What did Kansas say?
Dust in the wind.
Oh my God, so dumb.
All we are is dust in the wind. That's a killer song, though.
It is a good song. That is a good song.
All right, Nobody. Moving on. Cosmic, because I'm gonna get through all of them because I have a lot of notes.
What do you got on Cosmic?
Cosmic. It's my 7B.
Okay.
It starts off super slow. Brooks has to do some freestyling here on the cymbals to add a little break to the pacing because I think the song starts so slow, and that's where the song ends on being bad. After that, this song becomes perfect because the solo is fucking amazing. It matches the song feeling and the overall album aesthetic. And like, come on, dude, when it kicks in and goes faster, but then the solo kind of slows down the pacing a little bit. Fuck me with that contrast. Get the fuck out of here. Like, what are you guys doing here?
Because like Brooks like rips it up. He gets way crazier, but I love how your boy Sinister with 2 Ys.
Dude, with 2 Ys. Come on.
He's so subtle, and goddamn, dude, I agree. The contrast is fucking awesome. It's such a great build-up too. Like the build-up and the drum fills, and Brooks kills it, man. He fucking kills it.
Okay, and then that's what you want to take out from this song is that Brooks kills it. Okay, all right.
You give me anything like positive about Brooks, I'm going to jump on. I'm like a fucking
that one's on me.
Shark or something right now. I don't know.
Throw a little bit of chum in the water.
I go crazy.
And y'all show up. I get it. Okay, that's okay. That's on me. I get that. I love this piano riff. I like how it transitions the parts of this album. The piano really drives this album forward in a subtle way because it's always there. It never goes away. And even though we hear synths, even though we hear like organs, we always hear pianos when the album is transitioning to a different part. And I like how they use the orchestra and mix it with the guitars. It's silly. It's super effective. It's something
like at the end, right? Like that soundscape thing that they're doing.
Yeah, before the cosmic part of the song. I put that in quotation. You couldn't see my hands. But like you can't call a song cosmic without having some type of cosmic sounding riffage or parts. And then we get that. We get that later on. We get that kind of like spacey synth riff. Shadows has that super like ethereal verbed up vocal parts. Honestly, it's very like BT Bam sounding, just not BT Bam. And the ending orchestra part is just fucking spot on because this album is wild with the like so like the orchestra part isn't goofy or out of place. It's put in there deliberately. They're not trying to hide it. They're putting in the front and they're building around it. It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that for sure.
I love it.
Even still, this song sits fairly low on my banger list. It's also my 7B. I don't know. It's a song that you need to listen to in the context of the record. It's as a standalone, it's not the greatest.
And then the lyrics, like this one was wild for me. I love this one so much.
Oh man, this one bummed me out. It really did.
Go. What do you got? Then I'll get into why I went off the rails with this one.
Okay, so I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but I feel It's about death, leaving a loved one behind. And in this instance, he's reassuring that person that they'll meet again and, somewhere down the line, and to always look for reminders of them in their normal everyday life, just to have some source of comfort after he dies. And I don't know, man, it bummed me out hardcore on this one.
Yeah.
But it's so simple. It's so simple.
So like there's two different paths that I took. One is that we talked about earlier, that we're all going to die. Everybody's going to fucking die at some point. Yeah. And have you seen the movie Coco? The Pixar movie Coco?
I have not.
And the whole like concept of the movie Coco is a person is not truly dead until they're forgotten, until nobody talks about them anymore. And like realistically, that happens with everybody. Like no matter how much you want to be a part of like your history and read about people, like people are just forgotten. And there's so fucking many of us. We're going to be forgotten, and then we're truly going to become dead in our entirety. But whatever, it happens. And so you think that like, oh yeah, like don't worry about it. After I'm dead, you'll still see me in memories and things. And so yeah, you will. When you lose somebody, you will see them in daily activities or foods you eat or drinks that you drink or movies you watch.
Yeah.
But that'll fade, just like everything else does. And that is a fact of life. And it's, again, humbling and terrifying. That it's super fucking sad. I get it. But then there's also the other part of this too. Like if you take it into like a more fringe aspect, right? This one's cool because it's about like lovers who won't be broken up by anything, not even death. Kind of like a reincarnation thing, but also, like I said, some fringe ideals. There's a lot of super interesting reads online about past life regression, like hypnosis. You read about that shit?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
Dude, I love this stuff. I kept telling you watch Fringe. You watch Fringe for a little bit, but you didn't give it a chance.
It's not a good show.
You watch like 2 minutes of it, not a big deal. But they get into like
I watched the first season of it. It's not good.
God, man, they really get into like all of this. Like you meet somebody in life and you instantly become not just like friends, but like not best friends either, but just really comfortable with them as if you've already been friends for years. Oh, that's past life regression hypnosis, dude. Or if you share like similar interests with somebody or likes or dislikes and they stem from a specific place and time that you both also share. Oh, that's also past life regression hypnosis, dude. These are all coming together in these things. And, it's so good. No matter life or reality, these lovers are here in the story and they will find each other again. I like that. I like that concept.
I like it too. I do. I really, really do. I like
Silly
that
as
deep
fuck,
dive.
But I don't not believe that. I don't believe it, but I don't not believe it. There's a difference.
All right.
Go. Beautiful mornings. Beautiful morning.
So this has a lot of Sgt. Pepper feel to it, or at least halfway through it.
Well, what, Beautiful Morning?
Yeah, Beautiful Morning.
Oh, hold on there, dude, because first of all, Mr. Shadows is singing like he's some kind of fucking 90s yarler coming out the gates here.
Well, okay, so I like I said, I was talking about like the middle portion, like a little after 2 minutes, it drops into this kind of like ethereal, happy thing with the soundscape, his vocals, and there are moments and aspects of that part that remind me a lot of Sgt. Pepper's, a lot of that record for almost like a little over a minute.
Yeah,
and then it drops into crazy stuff.
I don't. What's cool about I'm all over the place. So I hate that I love this song, especially this bridge, like the choir, the orchestra. What I like about that, even though it's super fucking goofy. This is my AB, by the way. Even though it's super goofy and cheesy, I like that the left channel is drums and the right channel was like vocals. And so, like, why would you separate the drums and the vocals on the stereo channels? Like that's weird, right? You would separate like guitars or like a bass and a guitar, like separating the drums and the vocals.
Or maybe have like one vocal on one side, the other vocal, like the Beatles did. You know, it's like you have Lennon on one, McCartney on the other side. But
then you listen to it again and you hear, as your boy coming through, you hear Brooks and Mr. Shadows. They're harming. They're going back and forth. They're doing things with each other that like a rhythm and a lead guitarist would do. And it's in this weird, subtle fucking way that doesn't make any sense. But because we've already done 5 songs like this, it's perfect.
And do you know why that is?
Why?
It's because Brooks Wackerman is a great fucking drummer. and a great songwriter in the context of this record. That's Brooks Wackerman, dude.
Or that's because the only song on this album that the lead vocals are by Sinister with 2 Ys is this song. Or it's because that he is a great songwriter. And that's the reason that the only time in this album that you get the separation of channels is this song. And that's because of Sinister, not because of your boy Brooke. See how I set you up like that?
You did, but it was stupid.
That wasn't stupid. Like, you thought like the separation was Brooks's idea. Like, no.
Oh yeah.
The only time the lead like vocalist and the lead songwriter on a forward song like this one is on this album. This song. The only time on this album is this song. And that's Sinister with 2 Ys. That's it.
So, okay. Well, that's wrong.
Huh? I'm just saying.
So what do you have lyrically on this one?
This one I don't fucking even know, dude. I literally have no idea. I thought like maybe he want to die, or like he was fantasizing about death. I don't fucking know.
I think this is just him ruminating on the meaninglessness of life, and how we all die, fade away. Just more of the same, but it's more. I think this is like a more bleak way of just talking about it. Like it's a more straightforward bleakness of life. That's what I got it lyrically on this one. Beautiful morning.
Okay.
But I don't know. I do like how the lyrics contrast with the music, especially during the bridge, like we talked about, that kind of happy, ethereal Sgt. Pepper's thing going on, and then you have these very bleak lyrics. I do like that contrast a lot. But otherwise, no, I'm good with Beautiful Morning.
That leaves one more.
Easier. Yes.
My 6B.
Yeah, this was an unused song from 2007. I can hear it a little bit because it's more of that kind of heavier Metallica kind of sound that they were going for on Avenged, the self-titled record, whatever you want to fucking call it.
Avenged.
Yeah, Avenged. Especially vocally too. Like vocal wise, he's like definitely throwing it back to that record, or like City of Evil, something like that. But then there's like a lot of Daft Punk things here too.
Dude, this is 100% like a Daft Punk ripoff homage song.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And then it kind of cycles through like the Daft Punk part to the heavier thing, back to Daft Punk heavier. So it kind of cycles through that. I don't think it's
damn, the
too
song is so
nuanced of a
fucking
song.
good. But there's parts
nuanced
of the song that are fucking great. That solo, dude, is something
it's a solid
Frusciante would have done on like Blood, Sugar, and Sex. It's fucking amazing. And then adding space noises, that little like, pshum, pshum. Like, what are you doing?
The only way I could describe that solo is that it sounds happy. Like that's the best way to explain it. Like I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing to make it sound that way, but it works. It fucking works.
Damn,
on this
dude, this song is so fucking good. It's so. This may be their wildest song, dude. It's so bizarre.
Oh.
It's so fucking out there.
I wouldn't say it's their wildest, but it's definitely different because of the Daft Punk thing.
Yeah, it's blatant. It's not even like they don't even try to hide it. This is blatantly obvious a ripoff of not specifically Daft Punk, but Daft Punk just popularized that sound.
Yeah.
But damn, dude, they didn't hide it. They didn't reinvent it. It's just two different sounds they liked put together by a drop into the heavy, right? So like before it goes into the heavy part, it drops. Mm-hmm. And then before it gets into the soft part, it just stops. But there's no blending. And I think that's intentional. I think that's great. You don't always need like transitions and things. If you're confident about what you're doing, drop into heavies and stop into softs. That's it.
Yeah, you're right. So then what do you have lyrically on this one?
Dude, my favorite verse on the entire album is from this song.
Really?
So I think it's about going through the motions of life and like coming out unscathed. Barf, who cares?
I think this is the weakest song lyrically, for sure.
But dude, are you sitting down? Because what I'm about to read you, it's going to buckle your fucking knees. Like a flamingo. You go backwards. Okay.
It's kind of gross, but okay. Continue.
That is gross. When I watch Instagram reels and I watch people like fall on things, I just immediately skip them because I don't want to watch. That stuff's nasty. So what Mr. Shadow says, he says, I've been shaped by peaks and valleys, found a plateau where I cursed at the sky, Sometimes I feel the rain falls for me, bound to the flesh till the day that I die.
It's not bad.
Good. That's pretty fucking good, dude. That's like what's that girl's name? Julia Stiles from 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Like that's just like good fucking high school slam poetry, man.
Emotionally underdeveloped, some might say.
I don't think he's emotionally under.
No,
I think Mark is on.
Yeah,
he's yeah.
I know. I'm kidding.
Going there for dead. Don't. You can't say emotionally underdeveloped and not expect me to get triggered and talk about Mark.
True, but I even still, this verse, I love it's
that.
Good, but I don't think it's super strong.
I think it's amazingly strong. It's about going through like the peaks and valleys of life, and then, like going with it, rolling with the punches, and saying I've been shaped by the peaks and valleys of life. Like, come on, that's silly. Of course, like obviously everyone has, but then to find like a plateau where you curse at the sky, right? You find like that middle point in your life where like, okay, I finally feel stable. I finally feel good. To where I can either curse at God for fucking me over constantly, which goes back into the theme of the earlier content that we talked about, where God's just an asshole about like a guy burning ants with a magnifying glass, and then the feeling of like the rain falls for me, right? Like the whole like in movies you see it all the fucking time, where like the rainfall will fall on one person.
Yeah,
like dude, he's pulling out all the fucking cliche stops in a way that's not cliche though.
But it is cliche.
But it's not cliche because it's not hidden. If he was hiding it and pretending that it wasn't cliche, it would be cliche. Because it's all there in one fucking verse. That is not cliche. And then bound to the flesh till the day that I die. Fuck me. Come on. If that is not early 2000s OC hardcore,
that is very,
I don't know what it is.
Very emo. It's very, very early 2000s emo for sure.
God damn, that is good.
Bound to the flesh till the day that I
die. Come on. That's a tattoo if I ever seen one.
Oh man.
Dude, like I'll incorporate this to my wrap up. If you were doing like an Instagram contest where you're like, hey, give me the year that this lyric was written. And someone says, bound to the flesh till the day I die. Oh, that's fucking 2004. Sure. That's fucking, that's the Used or something. They like, no, that's 2023. That's silly. But I think that's
that peaked in the early mid 2000s. So,
well, this band peaked 2023.
Well, okay, to us, yes, but to the general population, yes, it was early 2000s.
It's difficult because I like metalcore is just not a great genre. It's a regional genre, to be honest. It's something that is just not very good overall. There's a couple bands that kind of pull it off well, but it's not good metal. It's not good hardcore. It's not good punk. It's just like a hodgepodge of everything, but not doing good at anything. And I think that Avenged Sevenfold has finally found the secret. They found the secret. They can take everything that they've come from. They can take all of their experiences and put it into something that is absolutely fun. And that is really where like music should have been stemming from, is fun. And we can go into the whole thing about how much music is not fun anymore. It's kind of crazy, man. Like it's even though we complain about music a lot and how music is not fun anymore. Like you're right. This may be like the album of the year. It really fucking may be the album of the year. And
right now,
Turnstiles,
it is my album of the year. Yeah.
Turnstiles, Glow On, that was album of the year. Or Bomb Pops, that was album of the year. RTJ4, that was album of the year. So there is still music out there that is fucking blowing our goddamn minds.
You're right, and that's even like throwing it back to Bomb Pops. Like that's not a revolutionary record, but it hits all the right spots. Like it really does. There's nothing different or unique or really special about that record. But man, dude, it's solid pop punk. That's really that's what that is. Like Turnstile, it's something different. It's something unique. It's something
to them. This is something unique to music in general. I think this is. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in any aspect. I don't think there's been a band ever that has made an album that sounds this diverse, this This goofy, but this tight.
Yeah, and yes, exactly. Yeah.
I think this is the most. I think this should go up there as far as like the greatest prog albums of all time in heart, but not execution in heart. Because this is prog. This is prog at its heart. Much like we always talk about like punk. What does punk mean? You know, like fuck this. We hate the Sex Pistols, but like other bands like Tenacious D, that's punk as fuck. They do whatever the fuck they want to do at all times. This is prog at heart, not an execution. I love this album. Every time I listen to it, even this week, it gets better and better and better. Yeah. And I don't even like guitar solos. I don't even like Sinister with 2 Y's. I just don't.
But he's your boy.
Cheesy and fuck. But god damn, is he not the MVP? Come on.
He's a great. No, well, he's great.
This album,
it's a toss up between him and Brooks as the MVP.
That's.
I stand by it. I'm not backing down.
You are saying
not backing
words. down. I not only give this album a perfect 3. I think this album. I think this should be up there when people talk about like what's metalcore sound like. You should play him this one. Like this is what metalcore should sound like. Because it's better. Because it's better than all the fucking bullshit metalcore bands that put out a bunch of drivel ass bullshit. Even though I love that, we talked about that Fest in Garden Grove or whatever earlier from that record label.
Yeah, Indecision Records. Yeah.
And even though like Death by Stereo does not belong in that list of bands that are mediocre, that's a bunch of bands that are mediocre. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I know where I'm going with this. I think it's a perfect album.
I have no idea where you're going.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I don't know. It went up for me. You didn't cut me off. Usually you cut me off. You didn't cut me off.
I wanted to hear everything. So give it a perfect 3 out of 3.
You got it.
People who don't know our world famous 3-point rating system. 3 is a perfect album. 2 is a good album. You're going to continue to listen to. 1 is a bad album. Give it a shot. And 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So I agree. This album is something unique. It's not revolutionary. I mean, we've heard prog music. We've heard prog metal with like BT Bam, Dillinger, all that kind of shit. We've heard it before. It's been there. But they do something so off the wall and just so unexpected. Not just for this band, but just for, I don't know, I guess the genre in general. This could be the next step in like prog rock. I really do believe it without sounding like, you know, the jazz fusion stuff from the 70s and 80s. Like this could be the proper progression in prog rock music. It has enough of the heaviness. It has enough of the quirkiness, kind of the odd time signatures. It doesn't have the boringness of like Dream Theater and shit like that. Like this could be the next step into prog music. And I truly believe that.
Damn, what if it is? What if like all of our favorite bands from, you know, the 90s, 2000s era are now going to come out with prog albums at heart, the best that they can.
Dude, it could be really cool. It could be really, really fucking cool. Surprisingly, you know, but Avenged did it. I'm blown away by this one. At this point, this is my album of the year. I've said it the first time I heard it. I said this is the album of the year. I mean, the Rancid album's solid, but damn, dude, this takes it to the next level. I'm blown away by this. Everybody brings it, you know, even as much shit as I talk on Mr. Shadows. He's not a great singer, but damn, dude, he fucking brings it. He does so many weird things you've never heard him do before. He nails it. I'm not the biggest fan, but he fucking nails it on this. Even Johnny Christ. That's a name, dude.
That's something.
That is something. He does some really cool things on the bass here. Some squirrely stuff, some good funk shit. Sinister Gates with 2 Y's. Absolutely fucking nails it. Might be the MVP. I don't know. Zaki Vengeance. That's another name, dude.
That's just the fucking worst name.
I don't know what he does on this record. I don't know.
He's a rhythm guitarist.
I know he's the rhythm.
He stands there and collects a paycheck.
That's
Humble
pretty
paycheck.
much all he does.
Paycheck.
And then my boy Brooks, fucking nails it, kills it. You talk shit. I don't care. I don't care if my goggles are on or not.
Must listen to a different album because there's no fucking way in hell.
No,
that
he
Brooks
fucking
is
kills
even
it.
close to being the MVP on this record.
He kills it. He nails it. This album is a perfect 3 out of 3. I love this record. I'm so stoked on it. I love the artwork, which we didn't really get into, but that's fine. We've already talked for so long. We're not going to get into it. But 3 out of 3 for me on this one. So
okay.
Do you have anything else? Are we all good?
That's it. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. Tell all your friends. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. And that's it. That's all.
Chewbacca.
Yeah, they grew up together because Jason Freeze is the younger brother to Josh Freeze, and Brooks and Jason are the same age, so they grew up
Brooks
together.
Wackerman is the younger brother to Chad Wackerman, who played drums with Steve Vai.
That's true, but Brooks is a better drummer, so well, it's true, dude.
I didn't even say he wasn't. I